Let's get going. We've got a lot to go over today. My name's Scott Webb. I'm editor of Aqua Magazine. We have Brady Hurst and Kenny Lathen with us today to talk about ways that you can improve your online presence. So let's get started.
All right. Yeah, thank you, Scott. We're excited to be here, and thank you everyone for taking the time to come and learn a little bit more of how you can improve your online presence and a couple just simple tips and tricks that you can take away that will help you to show up more and get found and chosen over the competition in your area. So we'll go ahead and actually, Brady, I'll have you introduce yourself, and then I'll introduce myself after that.
Okay, yeah, Brady Hurst, I've been with Podium about a year. I run our partnerships. I'm over home services. So Kenny and I actually are both in home services. We overlap just a little bit.
Yeah, awesome. So yeah, as Brady mentioned, we're both over partnerships here. I've been at Podium for about 5 years and been doing partnerships the whole time. So probably have met a fair number of you just at different trade shows and events over the years, and it's been amazing to meet you and get to interact and work with you. Something Brady failed to mention about himself, he's pretty humble, but I always like to share this with people so they know a little bit more about him. But Brady actually can hold his breath for over 4 minutes. So the entire time that I'm talking, he'll probably just hold his breath just to prove it to you guys. Something else, we're both big college football fans, and my team is actually playing Brady's team this week, Oregon Ducks versus BYU Cougars. So pretty exciting game, and hopefully Brady's a little sad by the end of the weekend. Okay, we'll go ahead and jump in here. Here's the quick agenda, just so you have an idea of kind of where things are at and where we're going to go, and things that you can learn as we are going through this. At the end, we will have a question and answer section, so please type in your questions throughout. Don't save them till the end. We may not answer them to the end, but I don't want you to forget the question. So if you think of something, just type it in there and we'll address it when we come to the end. All right, so just jumping in here, 97% of consumers, they use online search as a way to find their local business. So just think about that. 97% of your potential customers that are trying to find a business that haven't worked with you in the past or anything like that, they are going online to try and find you. And the majority of those are going to Google. And so today we're going to talk about how you can kind of optimize that experience for your customers and help you to show up in that 97% search, because most people, even with the recommendation of friends or family, they are still going to an online search. If Brady tells me that I should reach out to ABC company, that's great. He gave me a recommendation. I trust Brady, but I don't have the contact info. I'm still going to go to Google and search that. And depending on how you show up in my search, I may be moving over to a competition or doing a little bit more research. So keep that in mind. 97% of those local customers, they're going online. And then when we think about just local SEO, it's search engine optimization for those of you that don't know. And we're going to talk through some points today of how you can optimize that. But one thing to be aware of is that the relevance or how Google determines who's showing up is these three things. Relevance, which we'll talk a little bit more about, but basically is the customer searching for something that matches what you do. How close you are, so that distance, and that's something that you probably can't change too much, but just to help you understand how Google's deciding who shows up. And then the last one is your prominence, your online reputation. That online reputation is huge. That's the reality for your customers. And if you're not showing up in a way that instills confidence, they're going to move right on to your competition. So now we're going to jump into just the 5 best practices for local search. And I'm actually going to kick it over to Brady for the first point here.
Yeah, so our first tip on this is to verify your Google business profile, but make sure you verify all of your locations. So geographical searches are incredibly popular with near me or a specific town or city mentioned in the original search. So by verifying all your locations, you're actually ensuring you show up when your customers are looking for you. So obviously tip number 1 is most importantly, but verifying your location. Plus, more than 70% of all searches go through Google. So that creates a huge opportunity to find new customers. A lot of the feedback that I get or questions I get is, well, what if my customer doesn't have Google, or what if they don't have a phone? Well, I can tell you with confidence that a large portion of our country is using Google to search for, from a toy to literally a pool service to HVAC, right? You name it, from top to bottom, they're using Google to do that. Secondly, you must verify your Google business profile before it actually appears in a search and in Google Maps, because Google wants to prevent any of their users from being scammed by businesses they recommend. So Google often lists only verified results that are actually higher than those they're unsure about. Something we may cover later in this, but something I'll bring up now. If somebody types in best restaurant near me or top restaurant near me, and you're not 4 stars or above, Google does not show you in that search. So this is incredibly important, this aspect that we get verified, that we are that we're being trusted by Google, and that way Google will more likely or not actually recommend us in these searches, as long as we do a couple key things that we'll talk about today. So while we have a number of options, many small businesses choose to verify by phone, email, or even Search Console. When you verify by snail mail, you receive a postcard at your business address with a code. You can input into your Google business profile. After you actually enter that, your verification code, your business information is actually now eligible to appear in search, maps, and other Google properties. So just these 3 simple steps can help you with the most important part, is actually just getting your business on Google.
Thank you, Brady. And then, so point number 2 seems pretty simple and straightforward, but there's some tricks that you can do to enhance the step here. So it's adding high quality photos. Businesses with profile photos, they see 35% more clicks to like the phone number, like directly calling, or a click to that website. So just by adding photos, you're going to increase the likelihood by 35% that you're getting chosen. And the next stat that is pretty alarming as well is that listings with photos receive 42% more requests for driving directions. So if you are trying to get people to come into your store, your showroom, and you want a simple way to do that, put some photos on your Google listing. Make sure that they're high quality photos, and yeah, here's just a couple examples of those types of photos. But the reason why is people, they trust images, they trust reviews, they trust things that they can see and understand. If you just have the name of your business on there and the address, that could be anybody. They don't know anything about that, but if they can see a couple pictures that represent you and your brand, then it develops a lot of trust before they even reach out to you, before they come to your store, and it helps them to want to interact with you, want to do business with you. You see here just a couple of the examples of a minimum of the photos that you need to have. So a profile photo, a logo, and a cover photo. Here's just an example, Thatcher Pools over in Minnesota. This is their Google listing. You see a couple photos here, and they, over on the right, they do have their logo there. They have some pictures from the outside, as well as just like a nice quality photo of a pool. And really what you want to keep in mind, here's kind of the best practices. It's optimizing these photos for both desktop and mobile, because probably about, I think it's 60% of searches are happening on mobile devices these days. So you do want to make it so that whether it's happening on their phone or on their computer, that those images are showing up properly. And then you want to prioritize photos of your business and products that are attractive. They don't want to see some rundown building or like some photo that's kind of hard to read or see what's happening in it. So make sure that they're high quality. And then the last one, adding metadata to each image. If you don't know what that means, basically you are adding information about the photo. So a simple way to do that is taking photos on your phone, because it's going to automatically tag the location and the time of year and the date and everything like that. So it will automatically tag some information about that photo. And if you want to go in and add even more info, or if the photos aren't taken on your cell phone, as you're uploading these photos, there's actually a way that you can go in and you can add information about just what the location is or what the product is and different things like that that will enhance these photos. And that's not going to change anything for your consumers. Like, they're not going to see what the location was of where that photo was taken. It does enhance the search results and makes it more attractive to Google, because they know that this is an actual photo that you took in a specific location and you're taking the time to go in there and add information about it. Google, they are all about trying to be the king of all information. They want to be the source of truth for all information. So the more information you put into your Google listing, your photos, the more likely it is that they are going to show you higher than your competition. Okay, if you want more information about adding metadata, just go search, how do I add metadata to my photo? And then it'll give you a couple websites or just step-by-step process of how to do that, but it's pretty simple.
Kenny, I just have to, I can't stop myself from chiming in here. If I could summarize my entire work life in magazines, it would be that you can't overestimate the importance of photos. People is just, they have so much more impact on people than text, and you just, the time and effort that you put in either getting quality photos is some of the most important work that you do on any document that you're putting in front of people. So I have to underline that point for you.
I love it. And Scott, I think there might even be a saying about that, something around about like a picture's worth 1,000 words. Maybe some of you heard that.
Yeah.
And it's true. Yeah, it goes so far to have high quality photos on there. Thank you.
Yeah, so I mean, kind of adding on top of that too, and Scott, with your theme, this is totally off topic, but when I order food on DoorDash, I use DoorDash quite a bit because I travel. I won't order food from a company that doesn't have images of the actual food I'm ordering, because I need to know what it looks like, because sometimes I'm ordering from different places I'm not used to. And so to further reiterate the importance of images, I mean, it's not just with Google My Business, it's just in every business, it's equally as important across the board. So I couldn't agree more. So to kind of build upon what Kenny's going, the direction Kenny went here, something interesting from Google. So according to Google, businesses with complete and accurate information are actually easier to match with the right searches. So along Kenny's points there, if your GMB listing is incomplete, it's actually harder for search engines to match your business with local customers on Google. So in order to actually rank higher in search results, you need to add as much relevant information as possible to your GMB listing. So potential customers want to know who you are. They want to know when they can visit you, so your open hours, your close hours, that's also really important. I mean, during holidays like Christmas Eve, it's really difficult to find anything open, but there's always one gas station near my house that I can always rely on, because guess what? They put their information in Google so that I know that I can actually visit them. And then before you get started, make sure you have all of your basic business information at your fingertips. A lot of the things that actually Kenny said. So to the slide, we want to make sure to include at least these three main categories. So again, who you are, name, website, business description, category, attributes, opening date, and photos. Again, we talked about the importance of photos. All these other information, all these other things are also equally important, to the point of, like, if you're not putting this information in your Google My Business profile, it's going to be less likely that you're found, okay? The last two, obviously, where you are, address and service area, and then when customers can visit you, hours of operation, holiday hours, etc. So just those three key things can literally help you be seen so much more often in Google searches in your area. Your Google Business Profile is now even more important than ever. Actually, 31% of customers report they are more likely to look at a local business Google Business Profile before visiting than they were before COVID. So accuracy, because of COVID, is key within this, okay? So COVID had a little bit more work for our business across the board, but now we know, and we can actually execute on these things within that. It's important to prioritize consistency as well, so you can show up better online considering these tips, okay? So you need to ensure that your business name, address, phone number, commonly referred to as NAP, are consistent across the web. So we don't want to have a different phone number on your Google Business profile, on your website, and anywhere else that your business can potentially be found. This seems obvious, of course, but you'd be surprised by how big of an impact your NAP has for both good and bad. According to an actual expert of SEO, which I'll raise my hand and say I'm not an expert of SEO, but I can help in a lot of other areas, Neil Patel, the actual phone number consistency across all of them. So NAP and citations should be your primary tactic if you're wanting to rank in the local pack. So local phone number matching up with the local area code, you get the point. Tip number 2, your Google Business Profile also features a powerful tool. Your business description in 750 characters or less. You have the opportunity to illustrate, paint a picture. You know, a picture's worth 1,000 words, according to Kenny, or was it a photo? How you stand out from the competition. So use this area to captivate people browsing the internet with a story behind your business. What unique products or services do you offer? What makes your business special, right? Keep your description clear, concise, and avoid stuffing it with like sales pitchy stuff, fluff. Just avoid it. Just be honest, straightforward, and what makes you so special and sets you apart from everyone else in your area. And then lastly is it's very important to include accurate, up-to-date hours of operation. Again, we keep reiterating this. You're seeing a theme here, but it's just that important to continually update your office hours, your availability, your location, where people can find you. And this really helps you avoid the frustration of customers who, you know, call you. You said you guys were open. I showed up. You guys were closed. Most of the time, those types of customers aren't going to return. They're going to find someone else to do business with within that. So again, really important to follow those 3 key things, building on top of what Kenny has already mentioned.
And just to chime in there, when you do encounter either information that's inconsistent that you're actually seeing in front of you, it calls into question everything. That consistency breeds doubt in the mind of customers, which I think all of us have seen that on the web. Certainly I have.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And like Brady was saying, the importance of having your name, address, phone number all consistent. Again, Google, they want to be the source of truth, and they obviously know if your address and name and everything is showing up slightly different on your GMB versus your Better My Business Bureau or Yelp or wherever it is that you're listed online. Google, they know, they have all that information. So even if you have an and in the name of your company and it's an ampersand once and then you type it out and somewhere else, that is inconsistency. So you need to have it consistent. Same with your phone number. If you use dots instead of dashes, use dots everywhere. And the address, if you spell out avenue in one spot and then you abbreviate it somewhere else, that is inconsistent. So making sure that you are doing it the same way in every spot, not only will create more confidence, but also it gives Google more confidence in you as a business, and they trust you more, and again, will put you higher in these searches. All right, and then using keywords. This is a big one. So 72% of consumers who search for a local business are more likely to visit a business within 5 minutes of their current location. Now, you can't change the location that you're at, but using keywords will change a lot for you as a business, because if I am searching for pool chemicals near me, that is a very specific search. And if you aren't listed in Google as selling pool chemicals and you're just a pool supply store, then it's going to put a business that sells pool chemicals or claims to sell chemicals higher in that map pack for me as an option. So keywords are crucial. So use keywords anywhere that you can in your GMB, in your listings. You don't want to, like Brady said, add a bunch of fluff, but there are spots, especially when you're creating your Google My Business listing, that you can put what services or products you provide. And the second bullet point here, it talks about how you're supposed to do that. So when you're creating that, you want to put, if you're in New York City, you want to put pool chemicals in New York City, and make sure that you're putting that in, and then the city or locations that you're servicing. So you would want to do pool chemicals, New York City, pool supplies, New York City. pool covers, hot tubs in New York City, spas in New York City. And even though it might be a little redundant and repetitive, it helps because your customers aren't going to all search for the same thing. They are individual, unique people that are going to search the way that their brain thinks of it. So you need to go in and create as many different options as possible so that when they are searching for some random thing, it shows up in their search. So pool filters near me, when they're doing that and they're in New York City, you're going to show up because you have put that is one of the products that you provide. If you're struggling to come up with what all the different unique things that people might type into Google may be, there's sites like you see here that can help you, basically a thesaurus to help you come up with different options of what someone might search. So go use those and then just copy and paste in New York City so you don't have to type that every time. And as you're typing in your products and services, just Control V, paste that in there so that you can show up in the searches based on the search that those people have. So even though 72% of people are going to go to a business local, closer to them, and you're not going to change where they live or where your business is, you can change how often you're showing up in these local searches.
Kenny, are there limits to how many keywords you can use? Because I know, like in the pool and spa industry, there's just a lot of local terms that people use for different things, which I hear all the time. Is there a limit to those?
Last time I checked, no, there wasn't. Google does make changes pretty regularly, so don't quote me on that. If they have made a change and put in a limit there, make sure that you're getting what are your top sellers? What are the things that you want to be selling, and put those in there.
I would almost bet that there's not a limit. Google just loves data and data points, and they love millions and billions of them. So the more the merrier is always been Google's mantra. So yeah, don't quote me on that. Kenny, is fried duck a pretty popular search happening right now?
Only on your computer, Brady.
Oh my. Okay. All right, so wrap it. Oh, pretty close to wrapping up here. So again, I keep bringing up Neil Patel. If you don't know him, he's a YouTuber. He's one of the most influential influencers on the web. He's perfected all of this, right? Which is why we keep quoting him, because he's just done it really well. So according to an actual interview with him, he basically said, collecting as many reviews as possible should be your main focus when it comes to local SEO. From him, Google reviews are more important than ever in terms of both ranking and consumer behavior. And we actually have some interesting statistics behind this that aren't on this slide or the next slide, but basically 34% of the Google algorithm that gets you seen online is influenced by reviews and reviews alone. So when you think of a third of your algorithm, you're paying for ads, you're paying for click to pay, whatever, not click to pay, I can't remember the word, but basically this is going to be an incredible focus for you when it comes to being seen and being seen more often. And then most importantly, to a lot of things we've mentioned, is becoming the obvious choice compared to your competition. So back to the last slide, probably, Kenny. 88% of consumers say reviews influence them in discovering a local business. Kenny kind of mentioned this before, but not only does it show you up higher in the results, but consumers are reading them to make decisions about local businesses. Like I chose to go to college to BYU because I looked at reviews of Oregon and they weren't that good. And so because of that, I ended up going to BYU instead. And I had a much better education, obviously, from that. Next slide, Kenny. Plus, approximately half of all consumers are willing to travel farther and pay more to patronize a business with higher reviews. So again, it pays to prioritize reviews. People are willing to spend more, drive further, spend more time, you name it, all the above, as long as we have the reviews to back up what we're actually charging them. All right, lastly here, Google also pays close attention to businesses' reviews. So when ranking a list, you're rating and reviews in your listing, but it's not just the reviews or even more reviews that helps you top results. So Google carefully analyzes your review recency, okay, number one, your frequency, number 2. Let's see, the quality as well. So 3 things here: quantity of that, and then the actual response of the business. So it's not just like a lot of people we talk to say, well, I have 15 reviews and I'm a 5-star company, I'm good, right? Well, no, it is good. You're off to a good start, but a lot of Podium customers have hundreds and thousands of reviews and they're 4.9 and 5-star companies, right? So again, reiterate again here. So reviews, frequency, the actual quality, the actual quantity, and then the business response. We need to be responding to these reviews on there as well. So businesses just really need to aim for those key things within that.
Brady, I just want to remind everyone that, you know, when you're looking for someone online, you often start with no information.
It's true.
And those reviews are kind of all you got at times. And there's certainly customers out there searching for pool and spa companies that haven't gotten a neighbor's referral. They're just looking. And so they just have to make that judgment based on the number of reviews, the quality of those reviews, and responses, as you pointed out. A response gives you a chance to show your character as the business owner. And I mean, for many people, those are highly influential.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more and have nothing to disagree with on that statement. So very well put, Scott.
And reviews, I think, are something that all of us understand when we are thinking about our own lives and outside of the business we're running. Like if we look for a restaurant, like Brady said, he's traveling for work and he's looking for a restaurant. He looks for best restaurant near me. He is trusting the experience other people have had. He might not necessarily know what food he wants, or maybe he knows he wants Thai food, so he's searching for best Thai food near me. But he's looking for what experience other people have had with businesses that he can trust. And Amazon has trained us to do that. We might know the products that we're looking for, but we don't necessarily care who gives it to us as long as it's going to be the best experience. And it's the same with you guys in pool and spas. Like they maybe know what product it is they're looking for, but if they get it from your store or someone down the road, like they don't care as long as they are getting the best experience.
That's right.
Yeah, it just goes back to that last slide. You don't need to go back to it, but 82% of people prefer recent, like they're looking for recency of reviews. I mean, if you have 100 reviews in a 5-star company, but you haven't had a review in a year, did you guys get new management? Like it starts creating doubt in the actual consumer themselves. All right, last slide, pretty straightforward, and it's been up for a while, so I won't go too much into this, but again, ask for reviews via text. Why is this important? It makes the process of leaving a review as easy as possible. I know for myself, if I have a good experience, rarely do I go in and leave a review, mainly because I know I have to go to Google, I have to find the business profile page, I then have to find out where the review is, I then have to sign in, and then I have to leave my review. If there's a way to automate the process and send it via text, guess what? Everyone is on their phone day in and day out. And 98% of all text messages that are sent are opened within the first like 30 seconds to a minute of them being received. And so it's incredibly important that we're meeting our consumers where they want to be met when it comes to not just your business, but also leaving a review and making that as easy as possible. And then the 3 other things here, obviously creating a Google review link shortcut, respond to both reviews, negative and positive, right? Handle them separately, make sure they're equally important. And then of course, use a reputation management platform to really help build that reputation, both reviews as well as the actual customer experience that they're having on top of that.
Awesome.
And then these are just really great examples, especially within pool and spa, of Google searches, right? And who's showing up on top and why they're showing up on top. And it becomes pretty obvious, of course, as to what that looks like and what a top business in that area looks like in regards to that. So wanted to share some really good examples here of those in those areas.
Yeah, and each of these that's circled in green here, these are Podium customers that are using our platform to make it easy for their customers to go and leave reviews. And you see the impact that it has. Just like we talked about on Amazon, if these were lawn chairs and I was looking for lawn chairs and I see 3 that are pretty similar, but these ones are showing up, I'm going with the one circled in green because I know that they're going to get me the product or service that I'm looking for, and more people trust these than the other options.
It's a powerful slide.
Okay, so just to recap those 5 points, verify your locations. Go in, make sure that each one of those is verified, claim them, essentially is what you're doing there, and saying that, yes, this is a legit business and I run that business. Second is adding those high quality photos. It's going to go a long way to establish trust. It will also go a long way to help you show up in local searches. Keeping your Google business profile up to date, and that's what we talked about, just making sure that all the information is accurate, that your hours are accurate, everything like that, and then across different platforms everywhere that you're showing up online, make sure that those are all uniform and in the same format. Next is using those keywords so that regardless of what they're searching for, if it's something that you offer, that you will show up in those local searches. And last, like we just talked about with those reviews, making sure that you do collect reviews so that people know that, okay, those 5 reviews that they have, that's not just the employees and their families that went in and left reviews. These are actual customers. So those are the 5 tips that we have today. The last slide that we have is going to share a link or a URL that will take you to kind of a walkthrough of each of these and give you some resources that you can go and leverage to help make this easy for you to utilize. But yeah, just a quick plug on Podium. If you're not familiar with us, here's some of what we do. First thing that you see up there on the top is reviews. We've been invested in by Google. We're the only review generation platform out there that has Google's backing to make this process super easy for your customers. So if that's a strategy that you don't have something in place today or you're looking for a way to make it better, reach out to us. We can share with you kind of how Podium does that and how we can make it very, very simple for you and your customers. Or if you're looking to improve in any of these other areas with just the communication between you and your customers and making it easier, reach out to us. We'd love to talk to you, learn more about your business and see if there might be a fit. All right, let's go ahead and just jump to the Q&A. And then here's that link as well. If you guys are looking for more info or you missed something that we talked about and want to just go and read through it or need like links to resources that will help you in one of those key points, go ahead and go to that website, that URL, and learn more there. But yeah, Scott, do we have any questions coming in the chat?
Yeah, and I just want to say I learned a lot, and this is important stuff for businesses. So I think you're doing some stuff that will really help people sell products, because that's really what this is all about in the end. We do got some good questions here. I don't know if you can answer this one. It comes from Chuck Maltby. He asks, how do we create a review link shortcut? Do you guys know how to do that?
So because we sell a software that helps make that very easy, we don't actually go and create the links for that. But in Podium, we have just a template that creates it for us. There are ways using like bit.ly that you can go in and create shortcuts. And basically, it will ask you to copy and paste the review section of your Google My Business page. So you just go to Google My Business, find your business, go to the review section, and just copy and paste the URL, and then you would enter that into bit.ly. And I think that creates a shortcut that you can then text out to people or email it out. You'll get a higher response via text. But that's one way. There's probably other ways. Just if you Google how to create a shortcut URL, then it'll guide you through some things as well.
Sounds good. We're back on reviews. The question is, how do you recommend we start asking for reviews? I know we need to do it, and I know they'll be helpful, but our experience so far is that the only people that write reviews are customers who are angry.
Yeah, Brady, if you're okay, I have a real life example that is pretty incredible that I'll share. So there is a company, and let me actually I'll pull them up here. So if we come here and go here. So I used to live in Utah near Brady, and this company has been using Podium for a while. You can see they have 15,000 reviews. That is a lot of reviews, and they are dominating when it comes to local search here. But when I was living there, I needed some electrical work done. I reached out to them because they were showing up as the top company in the area. And I never let them know I worked for Podium or anything like that. But when the technician got to my house, the first thing he said after he introduced himself and said hi was, "You probably noticed on Google that we have a lot of reviews. At any time today, I'm not providing you with a 5-star experience. Please stop me, let me know, and I want to explain to you the reason I'm doing things the way that I am. So that way you can know why I'm doing things that way. We can be on the same page, and I can give you that same experience that 15,000 other people have had." So it comes down to believing in that process, getting your team involved in it, and there's a lot of ways you can get them involved. Obviously, explain to them what reviews are going to do for the business, but then, like a lot of companies, they'll set up an incentive program for their employees to ask for it. And you say, hey, whoever gets the most reviews this week or this month, we're going to give an Amazon gift card to them. But getting their buy-in goes a long way. And well, you might not have that whole big dialogue of that Any Hour Service has had. Just being able to ask them in person and create the expectation that reviews matter. So at the end, if you ask for it face to face and say, hey, reviews are something really important to our business. We're focusing on it a lot right now. I'm going to send you a text message. It has a link to leave us a review, and that would really mean a lot. Just that right there is going to increase that rate by a lot. And rather than just those angry customers that are motivated enough to go out of their way to shout at you online, you're going to make it so that, like Brady, who said that he usually has a positive experience but never leaves a review because he has to go out of his way, you're removing those obstacles and making it easy for someone to go and leave a review.
I have to tell you what my dentist does. When I'm leaving the dentist's office, my dentist presses a box of Tic Tacs into my hand and says, "Do you think you could leave us a good review?" And I always do. I've got this box of Tic Tacs with the dentist's name on the side of it, and I always do, every time. That dentist has great reviews. But on to, we've got a question from Masha Carter, who asks, we're back on keywords now, and they're putting the keywords in. Should we put keywords where the description goes?
Yeah, let me jump back to that slide here so we can make sure that we're talking about the right spot. Actually, we can come over here. So I believe that the question is about this section here. And if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, type back in, but I think that's where the question's coming from. And I would say, yes, you do want a keyword there, but make it whatever is most important to your business. So for Any Hour, the HVAC side of their business generates the most money. That's where they want most of their customers from. So that's why they have HVAC contractor there. Obviously, you see they do plumbing and electrical too. But if they have to choose, they're saying we want an HVAC. We want HVAC business. That's where we're getting the most bang for our buck.
Another question on descriptions and keywords. Do you have any other tips on how best to write our description to capitalize on keyword usage?
Yeah, I think just what I just talked about. Using that keyword for whatever is most important to you and your business.
Good point. Out of all these tips, what would you say is the most important? If I only have time for one or two, what would you pick?
Start getting reviews.
Yeah,
I know the previous 4 steps helps you build up to that, but I mean, I guess we would go back to, you need to have a Google My Business profile. Like that, there's no excuse not to have that. So I mean, that is obviously the most important one, but if I had a second step, if you do have a couple minutes in your day left, then just start getting reviews as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and I talked with a home security company in Colorado pretty recently, and they told me that after starting to use Podium to collect reviews, they actually shut off all their PPC and AdWords because they were getting so many leads just from Google and those reviews helping them to show up higher that they didn't spend anything, at least for a while, on PPC and AdWords.
We got one last one from Chuck Maltby. He wrote back a second question. I swear he has nothing to do with the program itself, but he says, how do I schedule a time to speak with a Podium rep?
Oh, great question, Chuck. All of you should have been asking that. Brady, what do you think is the easiest way? You can go online, but I want to make it easier for you. What if we just come in here and I'll throw my email address in here and you can send me an email.
Wait.
I think it's a good start.
Okay.
Perfect. Hey,
Yeah,
our
send me an
time's
email and
up.
we'll get you set up with a
Great.
time.
I'm fired up to improve our online SEO for Aqua Magazine. So I'm gonna head straight over and talk to some people about that. You guys got anything else you want to add before we sign off?
Thank you for having us.
Yep.
Excellent.
And go Ducks.
Thanks a lot. All right, let's all get back to work. Thanks.
Okay, thanks everyone.